Hello, Hind. Thank you so much for joining us for this Color Vision interview. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. So tell me, to begin, what color could define your mood in this moment?
Interesting question. I think in this moment, I really feel green.
You feel green?
Yeah.
Let's try to switch that up for you.
That's great. Thank you. That's exactly how I feel.
That's awesome. And what does this color trigger as a memory for you?
Right now, this color triggers more a sense of, I feel it's a color that is grounded. It's an earthy color. I think it brings a lot of, obviously it's a color of nature, right? You could argue that blue is also the color of nature and all the color are in nature, but green essentially brings a very peaceful vibe. And it's also very energetic. So I think the mix between the sense of being grounded, earthy color, nature is really how what it brings from a memory perspective.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And what is your passion in life or passions?
Oh God, I have a lot of things. So I'm a hobbypreneur. A hobbypreneur is basically an entrepreneur by hobby that doesn't do things for a business, but just bringing ideas and brainstorming. This is what I like to do the most, is brainstorming new ideas. I think I love to be around people that are really creative and innovative. Yeah, I have a passion for sports, but more particularly boxing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I like to do boxing. I haven't been doing that in the last months for obvious reasons, but hopefully I can restart that as soon as possible. I obviously love cooking, especially healthy food. I love traveling, meeting new people, and just practicing languages as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, many passions. It keeps you busy, I can imagine.
It does.
And regarding your expertise and what do you specifically do in life? What is your field of expertise?
Yes, so I do business development and go-to-market, route-to-market strategy for an American IT company. Responsible more particularly for the channel. So channel enablement, channel development, develop new routes to markets and new ways to do business with our channel partners.
Right, that's awesome. Okay, and regarding, as you said before, like you couldn't practice boxing for a few months for obvious reasons. How did you personally navigate the situation that we went through?
Look, for me, it wasn't a very big deal, I have to say, because I am a remote worker.
Okay.
I work, my role is global, and therefore I do not have to stay in an office somewhere. I'm based in Lisbon, Portugal. I do not have to go to the Lisbon office to work and be effective and be productive and collaborate and work in teams, which is awesome because I work obviously for this IT company. And the architecture I'm responsible for or I work with is video conferencing. And therefore, you know, more than ever, I've been very used to work with our tools. And therefore, for me, during this pandemic, I have to say it hasn't been very difficult during the week. It's business as usual.
Right.
But obviously from a you know, personal life, and especially on weekends, it's very restrictive. So I have children, and my daughter has been also at home with me, and we try to be creative, right? We try to do some workout at home during the weekend, and just try to make the most of our apartment in the middle of the city.
That's awesome. And for you, in a few words, what do you think and what is your vision for the aftermath of what we just went through? What do you think the world actually needs after this?
I think we will fundamentally change the way we work, right? And you know, hopefully companies will enable more secure remote working for their employees. I think a lot of them realize that it was actually possible to work from home, from anywhere actually. I think the management style around command and control is going to fade. And what you're going to see taking place more and more is more of a, trust-based working styles with, small teams collaborating but working from anywhere, and from any device, right? I think security will be more and more reinforced as well as we look to those remote working styles. Yeah, I hope it brings people together in a different way, right? I think that has been mostly what has been missing is a connection between people before the pandemic.
Right.
During the pandemic, we find new ways to connect because fundamentally we are human beings and we need these connections. And I think the aftermath will be around how can we sustain this connection and make something out of it that is productive in the workplace, but also for our communities. So I think we can expect to see more people active in the digital world, more people active and connecting together in the corporate world, but also in our communities, to do things together and hopefully make the world a better place. I'm an enthusiast. I'm a natural enthusiast. So I truly believe that that this pandemic will enable people to be together and collaborate together for a better good.
I can see the enthusiasm, and from that I actually have two questions that come up. One is, do you think this crisis will actually create new values maybe for our society?
Yes, I don't think it will create more values. I think it will bring those values on top.
Okay.
I think I hope it will bring people will care for each other more. Hopefully it will bring equality as well. Yes, I think it will probably, we will prioritize some values over others.
Right. And the other question I had, because you talked about it, was you see businesses adapting and changing the practices of the pandemic from what you said. Do you think company leaders will also focus more on their employees' well-being after this?
Yeah, I certainly think so. It's been a trend for the biggest companies, right? And I think, when you look at the top 5 to 10 best place to work in the world, the well-being has always been a topic that is really in their DNA. But you will see more and more in the second tier and third tier type of companies. So well-being, when I go to the office, but also well-being when I'm working from home, are going to be things that I think are going to be top of mind for a lot of companies. As we enable workers to work from home, probably hours and hours looking at their screens and trying to be productive and work in teams that are spread across the different regions in the globe, I think more and more companies will also enable their teams to take time off, to be more involved in different communities for different causes, to also take time for themselves. I actually work for now some company that give us 2 days off for ourselves. So we can, we called it a day for me. So we can recenter around ourselves, we can take time for ourselves, and we can rebuild during this pandemic. So I think more and more companies are looking at providing well-being to their employees because they truly understand that individual well-being means team well-being, means better productivity, and means better engagement, also employee engagement. And obviously talent retention and talent attrition are two big topics right now. So companies want to retain their talents, but they also want to attract the newest generation. When you look at the new generation or even the millennials, they're all looking at having this balance, this work-life balance. And therefore, well-being is absolutely at the center of everything.
Yeah, as you said, it's becoming eccentric, and if you feel well, in the end, you perform better, and everything is working better. So, and you talked a lot about the digital transformation, the digital process. We said that it's maybe bringing forward and earlier in time processes that were going to take longer to be achieved. How do you see the digital transformation that we're going through?
It's accelerated, right? It's going in a path that we've never seen that before. We brought maybe 10 years of digitalization. We shrink it back to 3 months, and therefore for companies, especially for IT companies, we've been running, right, trying to answer to those business needs for security, for remote working, for collaboration, for wireless, and so on and so forth. So I think this tendency will not fade away after the pandemic. It actually will be reinforced. Something that, I don't think companies are thinking of that as a temporary measure, that really want to implement that and sustain this in the long term.
Absolutely. Well, this insight into your vision and everything has been great. Really, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us and share that with us.
Fantastic. Thank you, Luca. My pleasure.